stay there, belong, and prosper, of course. And, and of course all the other politicians start piling on. Litzman says, well, if I'd only known that I would have found some graves there. They would never have done a project like that. Or Obama says, whoa, building in Jerusalem, we're going to worry about that. Whatever. And, of course, Netanyahu had his first summary of his first year, and of course he cited this as one of the great accomplishments of his first year, getting Olmert indicted on another affair. Anyway, and of course the other big news of the week was this very public brouha of Ehud Barak and Barak-Ashkanazi, right? It's kind of weird. It's a little, shall we say, dysfunctional that this looming Iranian threat. These two guys have a go at each other. But there is a very logical explanation for this, and the phenomenon is that it occurred this past week on Mamuna. Okay, now I don't know how many of you know it, but Mamuna is a sort of Moroccan holiday. It's sort of morphed into a general feel-good, eat sugar day. But anyway, the phenomenon was, of course, that Barak here was sucking up to all the Mizrahim that here he can do without an Ashkenazi. This is sort of, he's got his labor constituencies, whatever. He's got a lot of problems too anyway. But of course, this is all in the larger background of the Netanyahu-Obama spat. This whole building in Jerusalem and elsewhere. Netanyahu was there, and he says, "Oh, look, I need all this building for all the Jews who are going to be expelled from all those embassies around the world. I need a bigger Jerusalem." And sure enough, they expelled this Mossad agent from Britain. And are these lying stupid? And of course, the guy's going to come back under a false passport. I think that this is the end of the story. Come on, Australian maybe, who knows, whatever. But of course, right, the last time Netanyahu was in Washington, he signed a secret annex, he wrote 400 times, "I will not build in Jerusalem," and Obama was satisfied with it. And of course, Hillary's complaining to Ehud Barak that, all this building in Jerusalem gives her a headache. So, he says, look, you got universal health care now. You shouldn't worry about those headaches. It's not a problem, right? So, the universal health care is just an amazing phenomenon, right? And, of course, all these Democrats are worried that, who's going to, what does this really mean? How am I going to get this universal health care? Well, the phenomenon is that you got to pay to get into this plan, and if you don't pay, you go to jail, and in jail you get universal health care. We can figure out it's a win-win for everybody. And of course, Obama went from a yes we can to a yes we finally did something kind of thing. Whatever. That's the Americans' problem. Of course, he thanked Nancy Pelosi for her unblinking support on this. Americans don't really understand what this means, because now in charge of their health care is going to be the IRS. Right now, you thought your last audit was going to be bad. Wait until you go for a proctology next time. It's not going to be a very pleasant situation. Actually, the only really good news from my perspective is that finally John Edwards can get a vasectomy, and finally something is going to come to the end of this idiocy. Right, whatever. The Americans are great. They supply lots of news. Obama this week changed his his nuclear policy, right? That there's going to be no nuclear attack, unless, of course, you're from Iran, North Korea, or Fox News. It's clear that that's the only way it's going to go. And we had, of course, on the White House lawn, we had the Easter egg roll, right? You saw that. Of course, there was no priest there. They were all hiding each other, but we had a good time. And actually, right, in the other news this week was that the Roman Catholic Church was going to rename themselves as the Roman Polanski Catholic Church. That's where this whole scandal is. But okay, we won't make fun of others. It's really not nice. It's not my. And then, of course, my very favorite Sara Palin, of course, was out there in Las Vegas talking to a convention of distillers and brewers, and of course, when you think family values, right, what more do you think of other than alcohol and gambling? You know, it's sort of, but okay, it was a difficult week for everyone. This, of course, started the census week in the United States, and finally you could have a little Rahmanas or pity on Barack Obama, because I mean, how many times does he have to be reminded that he lived with his mother-in-law? You know, it's, not pleasant for anyone, and certainly not for him. And the Americans, of course, this week had a, they're agonizing over this don't ask, don't tell policy, you know, which is a long-standing problem. Anyway, and of course, so this week they came out with a, this week their first recruits were way overweight. So instead of a don't ask, don't tell, it's a don't ask for second helping policy. You know, it's, and of course the last news of the last interesting bit of news this week was Jihad Jane, right? There's a whole series of them, okay? And this woman, her mother explained she was so desperate to meet Al-Qaeda men that she went onto the internet and impersonated herself as a goat. Thank you very much. You've been a lovely audience. You can find me, Slog, and Facebook, The Daily Slog. Thank you. Twitter and Facebook.
Here we go for Pinchas Levinson, everybody.